When you ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? The answers used to be predictable. Doctor, teacher, astronaut. But now, in many polls, there's a new number one answer. Now, there's a lot of young people here. I won't make you raise your hand, but I'm sure there's a lot of us here who had a phase of trying to get famous on the internet. And you posted some things that you pray will never resurface. And don't worry, I'm not judging.
Hey guys, Ish here, and today we'll be doing some stuff. We'll be opening some treasure chests. Yeah.
That video, I posted it in middle school. Opening treasure chests in Minecraft. And this was the extent of my virality. That moment is what I call the great filter. The great filter determines what goes viral, and more importantly, what fails. The vast majority of things that are posted to the internet never end up gaining any traction. And that's because attention is brutally selective, especially in the modern age. Hundreds of years ago, the only content available was a few books, if you owned any, or whatever fireplace tales your family told. But today, when you post something online, you're competing with everything that has ever been uploaded. So how do you win? How do you go viral on the internet? I spent the last 10 years trying to answer that question. And what I learned had almost nothing to do with numbers and algorithms, and everything to do with human nature. Because the internet doesn't watch your videos. People do. I'll touch more on that later. My most recent YouTube video is called 1,000 Players Simulate Civilization. It still takes place in Minecraft, but it has 40 million views and was praised by some of the biggest content creators in the world. Mr. Beast called it one of his favorite videos of the year. I can't show you any footage here of Minecraft because of licensing, but in this video, I put 1,000 real people into the same world. They started with nothing, and over the course of 2 weeks, I watched as they worked together to build up their own civilizations. Some nations grew to be big, while others fell apart. One country made a justice system based on trials, law and order, while another country just threw all its prisoners into a coliseum. There were conflicts and wars, friendships and betrayals, characters the audience could root for. You didn't need to know anything about Minecraft to enjoy this video, because the story is what created meaning. This is the first of 3 lessons I'll share today. Storytelling is seen as a creative skill, but more than that, it's the mechanism by which humans decide what matters. And in a world drowning in information, the person who can create meaning gets ahead. What's more compelling? A video that starts with how to lose weight, or here's how I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. What grabs your attention? Coding 101? Or things I wish I knew when I learned to code? The second option sets up conflict. There are stakes involved, and even a character to invest in. Now, some viewers might prefer the first option, especially if they're already interested in that specific topic and prefer something cut and dry. But if you're trying to maximize your virality, you want to appeal to as many people as possible. And by adding just a little storytelling, you can turn your niche topic into something that is intriguing to everybody. And this applies to more than just YouTube. Pretend you're giving a speech or a pitch for your startup company. Our tool helps small businesses improve efficiency. Versus, last year, my dad almost had to close his restaurant because he was drowning in paperwork. So, we built a tool that automates it. Cognitive research says that we remember information better when it's connected through narrative rather than presented as isolated fact. If you want people to remember what you say in an interview, in a presentation, or in a YouTube video, connect it. Show what led to what. Give the brain something to follow. If you can use the skill of storytelling to create real meaning, especially where it wasn't obvious before, you dramatically increase the odds that people will care and remember. Lesson 2, attention is decided immediately. Whenever you post a YouTube video, you get access to a lot of behind-the-scenes data about your video. One of the most important metrics looks like this. This chart shows average view duration. It shows how long people watch your video after they click. And what you'll notice is most people who leave almost immediately, within the first 30 seconds, sometimes even 5. On YouTube, this matters a lot. If people click on your video and then leave quickly, the algorithm assumes that your video just isn't engaging. But if they stay, it assumes it is, and therefore starts recommending your video to more and more people. That's why the biggest content creators are ruthless about immediate clarity. Mr. Beast, again, doesn't ease into his videos. If the title of his video is, "I spent 7 days buried alive," the first thing he says in that video is, "I'm going to spend the next 7 days buried alive." It's really basic behavioral psychology. B.F. Skinner, one of the most influential American psychologists, claimed that behaviors followed by immediate reward are more likely to get repeated. If someone clicks because of your title, you need to deliver what you promised, and if you do that, you reward their attention. Mark Cuban once said that if you send him a cold email and don't immediately get to the point, he's probably never going to respond. In real life, when you're giving a presentation or walk into an interview, your first impression matters. But on the internet, it matters even more. Remember the great filter. Remember just how much competition you have. You don't get 5 minutes to prove you're interesting. You get seconds. And if you earn those seconds, then you're much more likely to get the rest. The last thing I want to leave you with is probably the most important lesson I learned, but also the one that I think the fewest people understand. Meaning is a limited resource. When I record my videos, I watch as 1,000 people simulate virtual civilizations. Hundreds of things are happening at once. Someone opens a restaurant, somebody else falls into lava, and so on. If I treated all of these things as equally important, the story would either go on for 20 hours or collapse entirely. So you have to choose. You choose what gets centered, which parts get cut out, which plots are the most relevant. But even more broadly, is this whole video something that people would genuinely want to watch? A common mistake on YouTube, and in real life too, is misalignment. You assume what feels interesting to you will automatically be interesting to everyone else. It almost never is. We're all biased by our own effort. If you spend 12 hours working on a project, it feels important. But the audience doesn't experience your effort. They only experience the results. There's a quote often attributed to Abraham Lincoln: "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. The most important work happens before you press record. You have to ask, would anyone click this? Because if the idea isn't compelling, it's unlikely that any amount of editing, music, or effort can save it. When I was in middle school, I thought that opening virtual treasure chests was mind-blowingly interesting. The great filter didn't reject me because it was cruel. It rejected me because attention has rules. And those rules don't change. Stories create meaning. Attention is decided immediately, and meaning is a limited resource. These aren't just YouTube strategies. They're human constants. They existed long before the internet. And once you understand them and learn how to truly connect with your audience, you stop chasing attention and start commanding it. Thank you.